Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for a great live, longer session that is going to be interactive. I want to see your questions. I want to know what are your thoughts about our topic that we have today, and it's about what is your professional mission? How does fear affect it, and what is it that we can do? How can we act despite of fear? Now, we all have fears. Hello Niku, hello Aiden, thank you so much for joining me. Hello Sorin, hello Dad, thank you for being here with me. Now, our topic is something that you may have had a lot of thoughts about, especially if you are interested in having your own genuine business, something that fully represents you. Now, having a mission is something bigger, something larger than having a goal. I want you to think about having a wonderful, inspirational book that is about personal development. And I know that you have read all sorts of. Hello, Rodika, thank you so much for joining me. All sorts of motivational quotes saying that it's really important to help the other people around you. And I have discovered, hello Moni, thank you so much for joining me. I have discovered that it is not only true, but it's necessary to set a mission that's larger than yourself. You see, having a goal is something that is only for you only. And having a mission involves helping, serving the other people around you. And how obvious and natural this is. And as Tony Robbins says, the secret to living is giving. Having a mission is not so easily defined. You don't find your mission just like that. It's not that easy. Let me know what are your thoughts about this, because I know that if you are here, you have probably read at least one book in personal development where all of these wonderful, amazing authors say that it's really important to do everything with having more than your own interests. It was pretty difficult for me at the beginning to see myself as focusing on other people's needs. I wanted to gain all sorts of benefits, personal benefits for myself when I began my business, but I have soon discovered that it's not all about me. It's not necessarily about my own needs, but it's how I am able to fulfill, to satisfy my own needs and then help other people do the same. And it's like a walk in the park. You feel wonderful when you're by yourself, and most of the times you do need some time with yourself, and that's okay and that's wonderful. But if you have someone to go along with, someone that you can share a conversation, hobbies, a great insightful talk, that's maybe even more fulfilling, isn't it? Now, I want you to think about your professional mission even if you are employed, because I am going to talk about all of the areas of your professional life, whether you are employed, whether you want to start your own business, whether you have your own business right now. And it's really important that you find a goal that involves the other people as well. And we are not usually taught to do this. We are mostly in our society taught to care about ourselves, to check our own needs, and to make ends meet the best way that we can by having a nice job that provides us with all of the things that we want. But isn't life more than this? Don't you want to do something for the people that are around you so that you can be happy? they can be happy because you're helping them, and together to build a community that is thriving and prospering and simply having an impact in this world. And this is what it is all about. It's having a mark, having your own personal signature mark. And this is also called a brand. It's called branding. And branding is not necessarily something that involves a company or a business. It involves you. You, the person that is watching this, your own personal brand is maybe more than your professional image, as I've talked a few days ago about. It is something that defines you, your nature, your personality in terms of how do you interact with the people around you? How do you see yourself in your professional life? And let's take it step by step. So, what if you are employed and you are wanting to have a better quality of life? Now, if you just go to work just because you need to go to work, there's no purpose, there's no goal, there is no mission there. Is it something fulfilling? Is it something that you see yourself doing in the future? Well, you could see yourself doing this in the future, but your quality of life is going to be very diminished. What if you go to your job with a mission? This mission could involve maybe having a better and a more wonderful working environment if you are the type of person that wants more energy in your workplace. You could be the one that sets the tone. You could have this as your own personal mission, to have everyone around you feeling happier, feeling more fulfilled, and having maybe a bit of purpose for themselves as well. Or maybe you are employed and you would want to have more clients that are more satisfied, that come to you with more ease instead of you chasing them. You could have a mission to have all of the people that you work with come to you instead of them being maybe a bit reluctant to deal with you unless it's business and that's it. I want you to think, if you are employed, what is it that you would have in the morning when you get up as a major goal that involves the people you work with as well? Maybe you'd want to be better seen in the company as a more professional person. Maybe you would want to have a bit more energy when getting up in the morning and simply saying, well, it's not just a job, it is part of who I am, it defines me, it is based on the choices that I make, and I might as well, if I don't like it, why not change it? Your mission needs to be more than what you can dream of right now for yourself and even for the people around you. It needs to be maybe as a mark, maybe as an impact, something that makes you feel very vibrant inside when you think about this. So let me know in the comments below, if you are employed, what is that professional mission that would make you jump out of bed in the morning? And I know this sounds strange because we are not taught to be happy when it comes to our professional lives. We're not taught to be even fulfilled or maybe even curious. We see in our parents most of the times. Hello Vladi, thank you so much for joining me. We see people that are not very eager to start the day. We'd see people that would be very tired when they would come home. And we as children, I for one, I was impacted by the way that I've seen my family interact with their professional life, with their job. I would see them not liking their job. And this is the part when I want us to talk about fear. Your professional life is a very strong, a very big part of your life, and it does require a lot of energy and presence and a lot of knowledge. If you are not happy with the job that you have, why not start something new? Why not quit this and start a new path in your career? Well, the answer is simple. It is fear that holds us back. It's fear that gets you stuck. You think that if you are here in this place and if things are okay, you are not fulfilled, your life is not going as you would want to, but it's just okay. Things are working out. It could be worse. This is as most of us maybe think. It's okay like this. I don't want to jinx it because it could be worse. No, you need to take matters into your own hands and act despite of fear. Okay, but this is easier said than done. What to do? Let me tell you my story. My path was not very easy either, coming with a lot of fears, a lot of anxiety, and the very strong fear of not losing my job have kept me in this. It was a good job, a manager position in an American multinational company. For it kept me there for 8 years and a half, and I can tell you I was not happy. But I was settling. I was afraid that I'm going to lose my stable paycheck, that things may get worse. What if I am not going to find something that is as good? And I settled for a lot of time and I was really frustrated and I didn't know what to do. And luckily, there was this opportunity for me to go to Belgium. So I kind of had this courage of leaving it all behind and move to something better. And I am thinking that if it weren't for Belgium and if I wouldn't have gone there, I'm not sure if I would have stayed here in this day job for more than maybe another month or so, because I didn't know how to deal with all of my emotions back then. I was eager to do something new. I desperately wanted something new, but I wasn't too sure of how to leave it all behind and start new, especially in a new country. Well, the courage that I had was not something that I had built in a day. I had began to research a lot about how to work more on myself so that I can have the life of my dreams. I really want it, and I am still going towards financial freedom, not being it necessarily for me to work unless I want to. And this is something that we only hear about in books. I have unfortunately not had anyone around me that would teach me some very real concrete examples of what to do. Although I began a networking business, a multi-level, yeah, you call it a multi-level business, I was not very excited about that either because it involved a lot of me stepping on my fears at first, and I wasn't too good at that 7 years ago. I became better at this around 4 years ago, well, 5 years ago, when I began studying NLP. And an advice that I can give you now, if you are in a point where you no longer want to keep your activity, you want to do something new, because I have gone through this. I have gotten away from something that I didn't like in my professional life, and now I am in a point where I honestly love what I do. The first advice would be to be extremely honest with yourself. Be authentic with yourself and discover what is it that you really want, but not in a way, not in a sense of you simply thinking about this. It's a beautiful dream. It's something that I would love to do one day. No, you need to decide that you want a different quality of life. And the question I have for you is, how do you want your life to look like from now on? How do you want your life to look like from now on? And it is a very difficult question, I know. Most of the times we have no idea, we simply don't realize that having a job, having an activity that we don't really like, something that doesn't really represent us or our values, can get our quality of life so down, so low, that we get ourselves so unhappy in less than a few days. And yeah, you heard it right. I said we get ourselves unhappy because it is us who perform these actions, not anyone else. And it is time to get everything back into our hands, get everything back into our control. And this was the first question. Now, the second advice I have for you, if you want to move ahead in your professional life, is to think of this mission, this topic that I have began talking about a few minutes ago. When this goal of yours involves other people as well, you get a sense of fulfillment, of contribution. When you give to other people, you get a more fulfilling and a more challenging reaction in your mind because you start to feel an impact, the impact of making the world around you better. What else can be more exciting, fulfilling, and also challenging than this? Actually, nothing that I can think of right now. Well, maybe owning a private jet, but this is something that we are going to talk about some other time. Now, your mission needs to be your goal, as I said, that involves other people, but that also gives you a sense of intense, strong impact with the people that you work with. So let's say that, for example, moving to the next level, you are now still employed, but you really want to get your own business. You want to do an activity, a side hustle, as other people call it, and I find this so funny. You want a side activity, maybe a multi-level company, a multi-level business. Why not? That's okay if you want this. I'm not going to say no, you shouldn't, because it's a good start. I started like this, then I developed my own brand, my own company, so it's a great starting point. Now, your mission when it comes to being involved in something extra besides your job is a bit more challenging because your mind is somewhere in between the employee mindset and the business owner mindset. Because when you think of having your own business, your mindset really begins to work in a different way. It's counterclockwise if before it was only clockwise. You get to understand that your mission when it comes to your life completely is first evolving around the quality of your time, the time you spend with your family, with yourself, with your loved ones, because you're not going to have time. This is the main thing that is going to happen. So if you are employed and if you want to do something extra, you need to be really, really careful with how you merge this. as you're going to be already busy in your job. And then all of the thoughts, all of the excitement that you get by having your own activity, your own business, is going to maybe make you feel overwhelmed. And I have done this. That's why I am telling you about feeling overwhelmed and feeling this intense fear of not being able to cope with it all. And this is real, and I want you to be extra careful with organizing yourself, your time, and your activity. This is not a joke anymore. If you want to start your own business, you need to get fully disciplined. Fear, in this sense, I have three ways of dealing with fear. You either conquer it, you get to see it from a different perspective, or you get to have this rational thinking whether this is something that you really need to hold on or not. Because, as you know, in my examples, you may have fear of driving a plane, but it's not necessarily going to happen in a very close future. This was just an example so that you understand whether you need to keep a fear or not. Now, when it comes to dealing with your schedule, when it comes to organizing yourself and being disciplined, I need to be honest with you and tell you that I'm still a work in progress. I do still listen to a lot of courses that teach me how to. As I have a 8-month gorgeous baby girl, she does take maybe 95% of my time. The remaining 5% is for me and my business. So I need to be really organized and disciplined. Fear comes when you're not informed. When you start a business, you need to do all of the research that is needed because it's a lot of new activity for you. It's going to be a totally different mindset. And I want you to start with thinking about the mission that you would have when you start this business. Is it maybe to serve other people, to make their lives better? Maybe you want to build a really strong community, something that your children, your neighbors, the people around you are going to look up to and start building it along with you. You name it, you are the only one that knows best which is your bigger than yourself goal, because your mission, your professional mission, is the goal that's bigger than yourself. What would this bigger than yourself goal be for you? Do let me know in the comments below. I look forward to talking to you about this. I'm very eager to get to know you better and see if you have any questions about this, because I have gone through this process. I began this process 3.5 years ago. It was such a great roller coaster journey, but I wouldn't change a thing because it all led me to where I am now, and I simply love it. And I'm very, very grateful for being here where I am right now. It is a lot of work with yourself more than anything else, because you only get to put out there what's here. So you are the product of your thought. You are the only one that decides whether you are good enough or excellent enough to begin this wonderful journey of having your own activity. Now, moving on to the third level, you have a business and you are still not sure which is your professional mission. It happens. I've started my business 3 years and a bit ago, and it is only now that I have discovered this extremely fulfilling feeling of having a mission. And of course, we know that it is easier said than done, but you need to contribute, you need to solve problems. This is what a business does. You find the needs of people, you find their problems, and you need to provide them with solutions. It's that easy, right? Wrong. It involves as well a lot of mental work, a lot of information that you need to process, because now you have left the old employee mindset aside. You are in a place where you want to build something that you get to realize that is bigger than yourself, because you're not going to build your business all by yourself. It is impossible in any way that you can think of. Getting the desires that you want from your business are going to come second. Unfortunately or fortunately, you need to know that when you start your own activity, your own brand, your own business, you first need to give, you first need to build, contribute. You need to build a community, build something that is, again, larger than yourself, for people to find the solutions that they need to get their lives better first. After you get your mission accomplished or on the verge of being accomplished, because you are going to enrich the people you have around you, you are going to enrich their lives, then you are going to get the benefits. And I don't know which are your desires from your business, your benefits. You know best than anyone else. Maybe you want cars, maybe you want houses, traveling, private jets, maybe holidays all year round. You name it. You know what is your desire. Just know this: your clients' needs are going to come first, because they need to get the solution from you first. Then you are going to get the reward, which is the energy you get back from them, equals the money, the payment. Now, fear is present at all of these three levels that I talked about today. Even if you are employed, even if you're still employed and you want your business, even if you have your business already, because our mind equals fear. I'm going to say this one more time. Our mind equals fear. Our mind is negative by default. You have heard me say this, and I'm going to repeat this. Our mind wants us to be alive, to keep our body safe. Hello, Doina. Thank you so much for joining me. And that's it. When you have your mind under your control, it means that you have come to get this conflict that is generated by your mind solved, in terms of your brain, how it works, to get to understand that if you make the change that you need, you are still going to be safe. Being safe in your body means that your mind has finally accepted that you can perform change at any level, anytime, whether you are employed, whether you have your own business, and things are okay. And this takes training. This is not going to happen overnight. That's why I put a lot of emphasis on asking yourself the right questions. You maybe see me doing live sessions every single day for more than 4 months now, that maybe give you some insightful food for thought to think about, as I know it took me a while to get to train my mind that change is good. Now when I think of change, I think of this amazing, wonderful future that awaits me, because I have come to the conclusion that change is beneficial. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think about change now? Do you believe that you need to be very careful when you make the next step in your professional life? Or are you the type that has already begun training their mind onto doing everything as you want to rationally and just get your mind to follow? I'm very curious to see what are your thoughts about this. I want to tell you now a bit about my professional journey, another story that is quite funny, because at the beginning of my career, it was in around 2006, 16, almost, wow, 5 years ago, when I first did my NLP courses. And I was eagerly waiting to get clients. I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and I didn't know that I had to change my approach. And now that I think about this, it gets me burst into laughter. It gets me bursting into laughter because I did not know back then that a business, even if it's something that you do maybe once a week, you need to get all of your resources, all of the energy, all of the information, and all of the research put in place and have yourself be congruent. Let's now talk about the values in your professional life. And if you haven't found your mission, your professional mission, your bigger than yourself goal by now, you will for sure find it now when I'm going to ask you about what is it that defines you as a professional. What is it that defines you as a professional? Maybe you are interested in having a better lifestyle, which is perfectly wonderful, because the end goal of any professional endeavor that we have is to have a better lifestyle. Or maybe you simply want to have more money to invest. Maybe you're into real estate. Maybe you want to have a better car. Maybe you want a better education for your children. You need to put all of these values down on a piece of paper, because this is the tone. This sets the tone of who you are as a professional. You are going to build all of the activity that you do on those small, wonderful aspects that define you. Once you get to the conclusion that those things are what is really important for you, you are going to know that that is what you're after. This is the end goal. This is what you want to get from your business. So you need to have it all congruent. We are not taught about this. We are taught that we need to get a job, that we need to get money and have everything stable, have not too much change that can shatter your lifestyle. Well, in order to get to something bigger, you first need to maybe unbuild something that you have already built before, but it's not serving you anymore. Now, before I go, I want to encourage you to get the 7-step guide to permanently conquer your fears from my website, roxanapopet.com. You are going to love the visualizing exercise that I have created for you. It's an exercise that I use myself. It is called the visualizing bag exercise, and you are going to get this wonderful, amazing sense of freeing your mind. You get to put all of the things, all of the fears that you no longer want to keep in your system in a bag. It's that simple, it's fun, it's quick, it's easy. I love to work with people that want change yesterday. So for me, everything needs to be really quick, easy, and efficient. I know that you are going to implement a lot of the things that we talked about today, and I believe that if you decide to leave a certain fear behind, a certain limiting belief, or an old pattern that is not helping you anymore, you can do this. If I could do this, you for sure can do this as well. The first step to try is this great visualizing exercise from my website. Try it. Let me know how it goes. I look forward to reading your comments even when this live session is over. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this useful. Let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. I hope you have a wonderful evening or morning or afternoon, depending on where you are, and an amazing weekend. I will see you tomorrow for another short, great live session. Have a wonderful week ahead, a great weekend, and thank you so much for joining me.